What's cracking, guys? Omar Yusuf here, back with another video. Fun fact, this actually is one of the schools I went to growing up, which brings me to the topic of today's video, which essentially, if you guys know these long and loose conversations, I sit my ass down on a bench. This isn't as quite a bench, but it's, you wanna know why?
It's the same shit as a bench.
Yeah, it's wood.
It's wood.
But the problem is that none of these benches were up to our specifications, and I've raised a certain standard of expectation from you guys, and so I wouldn't do you the disservice of reviewing a bench that's not even worth your time. So I hope we can move forward amicably. I want to talk about the biggest mistakes you can make in your early 20s now that I have some years under my belt, now that I've done a few things. I think I've gained a little bit more perspective. I'm not trying to be rah-rah on your ass where it's like, oh my God, go out there, get life, and don't quit. I want to give you things, tools or tricks that have helped me over time realize what's important and what has helped me out the most.
Knowledge.
The first thing that I want to talk about is that the early 20s are a perfect time for you, A, to discover what you really want to do, what your passions are, to take those risks, but also to develop the necessary habits to ensure future success in your life. And what I mean, some people might not have the dedication, the discipline. We could use the analogy, I play a lot of music, I like music, but in order to become good, you need to dedicate X amount of hours. And I'm not talking Malcolm Gladwell style, 10,000 hours, but you have to develop the habits, the patterns of doing certain things. And so having the dedication and discipline to say, no, I don't want to go out, let's say on a Friday night, you know, I've been working throughout the week, but instead I want to dedicate X amount of time towards my passion is something that will be necessary for the future. So instead of just talking about things, actually doing them, setting up the process. If you want to become more educated about a particular topic, maybe taking additional courses more than what you're studying at school. If you want to learn a trade, maybe, you know, trying to cozy your way in if you want to make movies, let's say with a director, or working at some sort of film place where you can learn more. So volunteering your time, trying to become better at what you want to be, and knowing that it's going to take way more work than you probably first expect. And so by setting yourself up to be a hard worker, someone that, I hate when people use that hashtag, it's like, I'm the hardest worker in the room. I'm like, yeah, okay. But what I'm trying to say is that you actually learning to embrace hard work and understanding that the process is usually so much bigger than what you expect will help you out when you tackle bigger and bigger projects. And that's actually something I've been doing recently. I don't like to talk too much about business just because people, they try once again. It's like, oh, check me out. I'm doing this, I'm successful. Emulate me, watch me, idolize me, and then buy things from me. I'd rather just do things that I like to do, and then if I have some sort of advice, I could talk about it. And that's why recently I've made the choice every single year to tackle one new venture. And that's something I've been doing probably since 2013, since I started Rascal Apparel. And so I started that, and every subsequent year I've launched something else. We've done Kaizen, then there was the supplement where we did Gnosis, then it came back as Ouroboros. This past year, we launched the podcast, Mama's Boys podcast. And then in 2019, actually it's really cool. I'm going to share this with you guys. There's a 90% chance of it happening, and I could share it with you guys probably within 2 months. But a huge announcement, I have a project that I'm planning on for 2019. But each project, I'd say, not necessarily each subsequent one's a lot bigger, but by tackling those and by setting myself up for success, learning that, you know, certain habits, hours of sleep you should get, hours that you need to study to become good at something, learning to try and network with people in a genuine way. So once again, if you want to work in film, or you want to do something when it's related to music, finding the right people and finding the right group of individuals is very necessary. So all the habits that will be necessary for your future success, you should start in your early 20s. And then the other thing I want to say, which is, you know, this is definitely a platitude that everybody says it, but when people say, you know, set no plans that are too small, or dream big, or have huge goals, those really are true, because no matter what, even if you set aside for yourself a goal that you have and you think it's completely unrealistic, you attempting to be on that path will already line things up more in your favor. And what I mean is, I do believe in something called top of the mind awareness. So if you think about something constantly, it's kind of like a Rubik's Cube where you're attempting to solve it in your brain. Even subconsciously, you might not be thinking about it. So if you set a plan for yourself or a goal, as long as you keep it at the forefront of your mind, even subconsciously, you'll be trying to figure it out. And there's nothing, because once again, I assume you're in your early 20s, you might even be younger than that. Even if you fail, what's the worst that could happen? I think the fear of failure stops a lot of people, and when you really try and figure out what's the worst that can happen, it's laughable, right? Even businesses that you might want to do big projects, you have the time, you have your youth, you have the leeway to try and attempt whatever you want to do because the future's not set in stone. And that's why I go back to the previous point where I said, you know, people talk about being the hardest worker in the room, but be prepared to try and outwork the competition. And so when you first start anything, you shouldn't be the person, well, how can I hack this so I don't do that much work and I succeed more than others. Think instead, what's necessary for me to become great at this? And then am I worthy of this potential success? So if you have a big goal, when I say dream big, you want to become X. What do you need to do so that you deserve what you want to claim? Because if you just dream of it, oh, like I want $1 million, it's like, well, what have you done to set that up, right? Just saying you want $1 million makes absolutely no sense. And then I think the other point I'd say when we talk about dreams is just understand why you want to do things in the first place, because some dreams are actually just fantasies. They're illusions that you think that you need that's necessary for you. So I just talked a little bit about money, that maybe it might not lead to the fulfillment that you seek. So make sure that the dream, the dragon that you want to try and slay, it's something worth endeavoring to do, and ultimately something that if you reflect in your life in times past, so let's say 10 years from now, it's something that actually you think to yourself, you know what, I took a risk, it happened or it didn't happen, I'm proud of that. So dream big and dream correctly. It's important for you to know what you want and to get after it. I hope this helped you guys out. This video today, that's not a bench review, it's a playground review. Honestly sounds a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie. Let's just say it's a school review. I give this one, actually, no, it was good. I give it an 8 out of 10. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you liked this video, if you thought to yourself, I learned something, like the damn video. I mean, even if you didn't learn anything, you made it all the way to the end, you might as well, it's like 2 seconds of your time, you just, like that, like the damn.
1 second.
It's 1 second, see, it's not even 2 seconds.
Counted
Yeah, you counted it, thanks, Sales. Like the damn video, and I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.